Brady, Westwater. I'm Vice President of Downtown Neighborhood Council. I'll be posting a link to our projects on the website. But just briefly, we have been looking to try and find ways we can find a home on Grand Avenue where we can build a permanent collection. We have identified 3 city-owned sites. Our committee has been debating them and they're recommending to the City of Los Angeles to discuss donating one of these 3 sites along Grand Avenue to MOCA so they can build a home for the permanent collection, which is never on display. Secondly, we're also working on developing a new type of nonprofit art gallery that is designed to educate people how to look at contemporary art that would show contemporary LA artists. The work could be for sale, but the primary thing would be develop collectors to support LA artists and LA arts institutions. Thank you.
I'm Julie Lazar. I did the first program here at MOCA, Available Light. Actually, that's not true. Maria Nordman did the first one, which was next door, 24-hour piece. I just feel like this is our organization, MOCA, and by us I mean anyone, all up and down the class system and the hierarchy who participated in any way. We have to be very constructive. Now, if this building is going to be empty, we should fill it constructively, earn income, contribute, we're creative. We should ask for accountability without blame. And I really feel the role of artists and all of the citizens who are merging together so there's no cultural gap or class gap, insisting on trying to work as constructively as we can in a unified way, but demanding accountability is what we can do to save the institution, which I greatly believe in and always have. And so I also want to say aren't there members of the organizing committee? I saw Alexis Smith here, the original artists who were involved in. Can you come up and say something, please? Would you? I'm volunteering you.
To this tonight, and I didn't have to pay or do anything because I'm a lifetime member. Because I was on the Artist Advisory Committee that started MOCA. And when I was a really young person, really back in the day, before the day, I lived in Pasadena when the old Pasadena Museum was there, and it was a very good place full of really interesting contemporary art, and it just one day was gone and became, and then there was no contemporary art museum in the city, and the LA County was there, but they only had a very small, modern and contemporary art department, and there were lots of artists, young artists moving to LA and getting studios, because the studios were kind of cheap and the place was interesting, and we had always had lots of art schools and people kind of gravitating here, and in the early 70s was sort of when people began to realize that you didn't have to move to New York, and that's kind of how come the art community got so strong. But after the Pasadena Museum closed, and there wasn't really a contemporary museum, and so a bunch of artists and a few collectors got together and had what was called the Artist Advisory Council, and we met every Monday night for quite a number of years, from say like maybe the late 70s, maybe in 79 until I think the museum opened in 84, did it? 83, okay, so, and we schemed, and we talked about what do we mean by a contemporary museum, right? And what do we want the museum to be like, and what do we want the space to be like, and how is it going to be funded, and what kind of director should we have, and a lot of the decisions sort of came out of the Artist Advisory Committee and then sort of percolated up in the sense that everybody was sort of working together. And in the case of many of the things like the architecture, which Bob Irwin was really involved with, and Dwayne Valentine, who was the head of the committee, he was very, he was sort of more socially connected than a lot of the rest of us. And Sam Francis was pretty socially connected. And then there were a lot of younger artists like me that were just interested and about brainstorming and thinking, you know, how we should put it together and how we could, basically how we could talk the collectors into having our ideas and implementing them, which was sort of what, you know, sort of the way it worked. And try to percolate up the ideas that it should really be contemporary and that it should really have a beautiful space that looked like, you know, a big white gallery. And anyway, this was a really long time ago, and this building was the building. This is the building I feel the strongest about because this is the building where MOCA opened. This was the building that was like an old warehouse that was redone, and it became. It has like the spirit of the original MOCA from like, you know, more than 20 years ago. It was sort of like this, you know, crash museum that went into the old hollowed out warehouse and had the big tall white walls that were the artist studios and stuff. Anyway, when I come in here, I always feel like this is the real MOCA. Although we were all involved in, you know, picking Sasaki as the architect and you know, trying to do a really great building. We had two directors. Richard Krishalik was the young, spirited one, and Pontus Holden, who was the old guy that had a lot of juice and a lot of knowledge. And I don't know, it was just a really sort of a heady time. And then eventually the museum had its beautiful building and, you know, Bunker Hill built. And I even had, when I had my retrospective at the Whitney, and traveled to what I still think of as the Bunker Hill MOCA. And that was really great for me. So I feel like my life has been really involved with MOCA. And I guess because the artist started it and because it was a grassroots thing that always knit the city together, I feel like it has to keep going. Even if it changes into some different permutation in some way, and maybe the other space is shared with another institution or something like that. But we have to stand behind MOCA and make sure that the main spirit of a museum that's only for contemporary art and that really respects the spirit of the art community stays alive.
Where those of you who want to sign in support of our statement